So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special video, right? After a long time. And so today we are going to be focusing on Venus, Shukra. And of course, this is, again, guys, nothing is a coincidence in this particular life. Nothing. Because if you remember my interview with Hemraj, right? Eklavya, I said I was just about to end Jupiter's mantra and start Shukra's mantra, Venus's mantra. And each mantra I have done, something different has come about. And it's like finally I was so excited to do Venus's mantra. And this is what I'm telling you. Don't think of these. See, again, I don't know what I have to make you guys do to believe in the power of small little rituals. Like, in Tantra, when you actually do some kind of a penance, you even have to draw a mandala or or yantra on the floor that you're going to sit on, and you put your seat there, you pray to the seat, you bless or ask the Devi to bless the seat you're about to sit on, so that whole process can start. And believe me, those things take you far away. Like when you follow these small little things, you don't think these are making the difference, but these are that unlocking of the key to access certain things, certain energy. So with Venus, I mean, just enormous amount of knowledge came in, especially regarding, Venus through Venus's source, which is Venus's nadi. And as you all know, I'm a big fan of, Hemraj. Actually, this whole thing actually started with him. That's why I brought him. And then, of course, the other person is actually Saijoman. I don't know if he's alive or not now, because nothing is there about him. I try to contact him that, hey, I want to bring you on and talk about Nadi because, I mean, brilliant. And again, guys, there cannot be ego. Don't ever bring ego in Jyotish. You can bring ego as a film actor, director, financer, banker, software engineer, okay, real estate expert. You can be the most show-offy, arrogant person there, and you'll still keep making money. But in astrology, believe me, the moment you show arrogance that I am the one and nobody else is above me or below me, that's when Ketu is going to make you bow, because Ketu is Jyotish. Overall, all type of Jyotish. Then they're divided into these other limbs with other planets. So this is why I love, bowing in front of the people that I actually learned from. So now Venus, Shukra, whose mantra I'm in the middle of. Shukra is money, right? In Nadi, they actually use Shukra as money and wealth. Like, especially one thing I always say is there's three things. There's Saturn, Moon, and Venus. Saturn is money you make through your work, actual work. Moon is wealth. Venus is money. And what is the difference? Meaning, and you must have heard this with me in my readings as well, when I gave you a reading, that, hey, if I gave you a canary diamond, in the middle of a jungle, and I'm like, okay, here, take this canary diamond, live your life, go survive. What are you going to do? I mean, even if you find somebody to get some wood and food and they look at that, they might reject it. They're like, what is this piece of glass? Get out of here. I'm not going to do anything with you unless you give me something of value. Well, it's a $200 million diamond. That is wealth. But what does wealth? Wealth could be simply you can have a piece of land, but if nobody buys it, what wealth is it? Right? That is the accumulation of moon, because moon is at the heart of all the earth signs. Its nakshatra rules the heart of all, the middle of all the earth signs. So it's wealth. It's actual accumulation of money. Venus is actually, see, wealth, and then Venus is money. So if you were in a jungle and I'm like, okay, here's the cash money, I'm sure somebody will find the fact that, oh my God, he's giving me this much money. Yeah, take all the wood because I'll just go to the city and buy whatever I want. So that's money. And then Saturn is the money or resources that you get from work. And there's a difference between Venus and Saturn, the work related to Venus and Saturn. So if somebody's a software engineer working for Google in Silicon Valley, they make 180,000, started out with 100,000. They worked at Google for 15 years. And in Silicon Valley, 200,000 equals to 60,000 because of the expenses. It's not much. But at the end of the 15th year, they ended up becoming multimillionaires. Why? Because they bought shares of Google. They invested their money in land. They invested their money in ETFs and other stocks. And finally, at the end of the 15th year, when they were about to retire, in the middle of their, and towards the end of retirement, they are now multimillionaires. So did the wealth come in through being a software engineer, or did wealth come in through investments? So wealth actually came through investments or doing other things. What they were doing as Saturn, their work, it was simply helping them sustain themselves. Saturn is always going to be sustenance, meaning like, okay, I need to survive and feed myself, because Saturn becomes debilitated in Aries. Aries is the body. Now you're going to have to work to feed your body. That is different. So always remember these difference between these three planets. So Venus represents money. How money can be extracted, how money can actually come in an individual's life. So when we look at when Venus is in Aries, your Venus is in Aries, you have to understand that you must, first of all, present yourself as the king. For you to make money, you're going to have to present yourself as a king. Meaning, whenever you go out for work, for interview, for business meetings, anything, you must present yourself as if you are very successful. Because first house is the physical body. This is where sun is exalted. Venus has to become the sun. And when you see a king in the palace, they have far different clothes than anybody else. They'll have jewelry on them. They'll have their crown. They have everything. Now, I'm not telling you to dress up with the crown and everything and go like a 11th century monarch. But you have to dress up, first of all, for your work. Even if it's home-based, you must dress up. Become the king. Become that CEO. Feel like that CEO. And number two, one's going to have to be a little bit selfish. You're going to have to make sure that you are getting yourself fed first. The other thing with Venus in Aries is that one must focus on their body. You will see with people with Venus in Aries, the moment you joined the gym, started working out, started sculpting your body, somehow, some way you found a more job offers, you found a promotion, you found money coming in. And this won't be happening with any other Venus. Some other Venus, yeah, fine, you joined the gym and then something else happens, okay? And you found it. But the more you focus on your physical self, especially if, let's say, for example, Venus is conjunct Mars. Venus becomes trine from Mars. You want love, you want marriage, and then you want money. Start working on your body. Join a yoga class. Do yoga. You will see somehow you are now activating that Venus within you. And that's how then that money comes in. Usually also anywhere you can present yourself physically. And especially as that regal person. That's when you also get money. Meaning, some people are like, well, I can do this work online. I can do this thing away or remote. The more you are physically present to do your work, in the office, meeting people, okay, the more you do that, the more you actually gain. The more you use your physical body at your work, the money comes in. Then Venus in Taurus. What happens with Venus in Taurus? Well, Venus in Taurus, naturally, it's a natural placement of Venus, like Libra. These are very good placements to have for Venus in Libra, Venus in Taurus or Libra. But of course, with other planetary placements around them, that itself can make a bit of a struggle there. But one thing you will see, the moment you start thinking that I'm going to create a business or work where I can sit back and just enjoy my wealth, money is not going to come in. Money won't come in. You will even see this with Moon in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, or Saturn in Taurus, especially when we are talking about money. You have to work like the bull to make money. Because what is the symbolism of Taurus? It's the bull. And especially if you know in Indian farms, bull goes around, right? In the farm. Whatever they do with the land and soil, I'm not sure. But a farmer uses that. That means you have to work round and round. And especially with this Venus, work that is repeating itself. You're working, constantly working. Post-retirement, you work. But work that always brings you around either the same people, same type of work. Okay, like for example, as an astrologer, what are you going to deal with every day? You're going to deal with different charts, but you're using the same method. And the other thing that becomes very important with Venus and Taurus. See, Taurus is second house value. Okay. It's what you value, it's banking, it's savings. If you have Venus in Taurus, every Friday, and of course, remember, people always get paid on Friday. Or this has been, I don't know how the corporate life is, maybe you get paid on Monday or Tuesday or something, but mostly all the time people get paid at the end of the week. Venus, money, again, just the actual real world around the world uses Venus, to do their work without even being conscious about it. Or maybe somebody was conscious and started giving money on Friday to their workers. And then it just spread and became a norm. So whenever you get paid, especially on a Friday, you should have an account that you just never touch. I don't even care if you have an emergency. You don't touch it. And you don't touch it until your Ketu matures at 48. Till 48th year, you must put money. You must keep putting money away without touching it. Every Friday. Even if you get paid on Wednesday, use Friday to deposit that money. And only after 48, then you can also utilize and use that money. And again, with Venus in Taurus. See, here's the thing with Venus in Aries, Taurus, Libra, and Pisces. You always have to value yourself and look valuable. You always have to value yourself and look valuable. Do not settle. If you go to a work and you've had 15 years of IT experience and software experience, and then this company is literally offering you a package. They know your talent, but they offer you a package that is very similar to what you were making 7 years ago. Now, of course, if nothing is out there, everybody needs to accept that. Even I've accepted it. Okay, I've done all kinds of work and jobs. And this is also one thing that I found, the discrepancy with Nadi. When people say, well, you should do this in order to make the money. Well, I'm sorry, people actually do that, and yet the money does not come in until you are ready to gain. You got to understand that. So for example, with my own chart, with my own planets, I was actually trying to do exactly what they're wanting me to do in my 20s. I was trying to entertain people to make money since I was 23, but couldn't do it until it was 30, 31. So even when someone says, well, you should be, if this sign is here, they should only do this, otherwise they're not going to make money. No, people are doing it. They don't make money until the timing comes in. So this is why there's certain things that I've found that has to be corrected with these Nadi concept and all of that. But You just can't think that if you just switch, it's going to happen. But what it does do, okay, this is why I'm not showing you that what work you should be doing, because even if you do that work, money may not come in. But when you actually correct Venus, so if you were supposed to actually become a multimillionaire, okay, between 30 and 38, what before that these things will do, instead of becoming a millionaire or even 100,000 a year, and you were making 15,000, perhaps from that you go to 30,000, 35,000. That is still a jump, but the actual destined jump will not happen until destiny happens. Like even you will see with between 30 and 32, one will always lose money. One will always somehow have some kind of a loss. These are the progression that happens. Now, when Venus is in Gemini, what is Gemini? See, Gemini, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aquarius are these four signs where mostly no planet is kind of like exalted or debilitated. They're just like very neutralized signs. But with Gemini, what it is, it's actually a sign of multiplicity. Multiple things. When Venus is in Gemini, I'm not telling you to go become an actor, because everybody's going to think Venus in Gemini has to be creative and all that. No. You can be anything. You can be an accountant. But the first thing you should do, you must create multiple sources of income, even if it takes you 15 years to do that. Because again, you will only get that thing when it is destined. But Venus in Gemini, you should always prepare yourself to make money from multiple sources. Have 2 or 3 sources. Even if you're destined to do a job, that should be your 80% of your thing, doing a job as a software engineer, as a IT individual, whatever it is, nurse. But on the side, you should also try to make money other ways, because that will start putting this wheel in motion for Venus. So even if your 20% doesn't even come close to the 80% of your work as an engineer or doctor or, as a nurse, just doing these 2 things, even if they don't make money, activates that Venus. Shows Venus that this is how the money is now be wheeling in. Okay, so money starts to grow. And the other thing with Venus, one again has to communicate to make money. Whether what profession you're in, the more you communicate and speak at your work, the more you will make money. Meaning, if you're a software engineer, that means you're always on the computer. Regardless of that, you should talk always to managers, co-workers. If there's a conference that is happening, you should ask, hey, can I present something? I think it'll be very interesting. Because when you're speaking, you don't know who is listening. And what happens is when you actually have Venus in Gemini, and when you speak, it can fall on the right ears at some place somewhere, where that individual may help you increase your wealth and money. Maybe you impress one of the other senior managers who you couldn't even contact, but they saw you at the conference giving speech, and so now they contact the other manager, hey, I need you to let's give this person this right projects. And once they see you do well in that project, okay, let's give this person a promotion. Things of that nature will occur, will happen. And especially with Venus also, anytime you can do any kind of like a traveling to make money, one makes money. But again, if you're talking about that big wealth, well, of course, it's the destined time that actually it comes in. Because even I've done all of this, and it only happened when it was supposed to happen. And number 2, you have to understand that even if you're not going to become a millionaire, at least it'll improve to a certain extent. And number 3, again, big wealth, like I said, Rahu's connection. So that becomes important. And of course, then we can also dive into Navamsha and all these things, which is also very important. So don't forget that even when you're, you know, finding the Picasso in Nadi. Because when you do that, it makes things even much better and stronger. When Venus is in Cancer, you should never ever have a dirty home. Keep your home clean. I don't even care if it's one room you are renting from someone. Make that room probably the best looking room in that entire house. The environment has to become Lakshmi. The environment has to become Shukra. Like, even if you know about certain rituals of Shukra, and believe me, I've actually taken a certain oath with Venus. This was a long time back, 5 years back. But still, one thing you will see with rituals of Shukra Tantra, Shukra will only come into a space that is beautiful, that is clean, that has scent. This chandan perfume, even when if you ever meet Shukra, you will smell chandan, and I believe it was lily, smell of lily or and chandan mix that happens. The other thing, Venus in Cancer, always gift your mother. Always give mother your unexpected gifts. Something which she's not expecting that you will give it to them. So never say like, "Oh, mom, I'm gonna be buying you this next week." No, just buy it and then just give it. And at the same time, because this is the house of nurturing, okay, nourishment, donate money to nourishing women, like especially food banks. Like there's food banks to provide for children, mother. So of course you can do a combination of that. But whenever you do it on a Friday. The more you do that, you will see. The wealth accumulation becomes much easier. So if you weren't saving even $200 in your savings, by especially doing this, you're at least going to have $500 in your savings. Tell me if that's bad. Because I know you were expecting 50,000, but if I made you save from $50 in single months to 500 in your bank, isn't that an amazing thing? Because I know the feeling. See, when I'm going to tell you, like, when is the time when you feel successful? Is when you make your first $10,000 or you have 10,000 in your savings, and then when you have 100. After that, whatever comes in doesn't come in, it doesn't affect the brain so much. But if you go from that particular point of $50 to $500, you will feel that exact same feeling that I have this. And also, the other thing, Venus with Taurus and Cancer. Actually, what was it? Hold on. Yeah, Taurus, Cancer, and even Pisces. Always treat yourself to luxury food. Even if you have to save money on the side, treat yourself to nice food, luxury food. Go into an environment. Cancer is the environment, dwelling. Fourth house isn't just land, real estate of your home. Fourth house is everything that is dwelling. Fourth house is land, real estate, hotel, resorts, restaurants. It can represent even hospitals, nursing homes, orphanages. Like especially if you have a Ketu in the fourth house from Jupiter or the ascendant, you might have an orphanage near you. Or even like a dog animal shelter near you. So these are the things, of course, that's besides the point. But you must treat yourself. Which I forgot to say even in Taurus. Eat good food. I'm not telling you to do that every day and spend money. But you should have that goal that make a goal that, okay, I'm going to go to this restaurant, this this expensive 5-star restaurant and I'm going to eat there. Once you do that, it starts activating your Venus. Then Venus is like, okay, I need this more. Then what happens is, okay, well, this person needs more money so they can come here again quicker. And you will see. Slowly, slowly, you'll go there more often than you thought you would. If you could only do that once a year, the next year you might do it twice or 3 times a year. Again, don't look for any miraculous things here. I'm trying to be very as practical as possible. When Venus is in Leo, okay? When Venus is in Leo, first of all, this person will be an excellent consultant. And even if you're not, you should somehow do consulting. Advise other people in your profession. So if let's say you're a software engineer, IT individual, okay? You're doing your work, you have no other regards. You do your work, you clock out and you leave. And if they ask you on a weekend to do something, you do it. But the reason why then that money is where it is where it is. Even if you have decent saving, it is where it is. It's not growing to the point that you want it to, is because you're not advising other people. Make children at work. What do I mean? Advise people even if they don't take your advice. Help people out, that like you're going to help, like a parent helping a child. That, hey, if you try doing this, have you thought about doing this? Whenever you just get into even a conversation which turns into a consulting mode with other people, where somehow, somewhere your advice is becoming useful, you then start activating that Venus. And then also with Venus and Leo. Again, this is also part of that same thing. With Aries, Taurus, Libra, and Pisces. So remember when I was like thinking? I'm like, there's one thing else, and then so yeah, Leo is another one. You gotta be regal. When you especially go out with Venus in Pisces, Venus in Leo, and especially Venus in even Sagittarius. Pisces, Leo, Sagittarius. You should always wear a nice wristwatch. Wear a very good wristwatch when you go out to work. So when you work, accumulate money, look for that watch that is, something that you just can't get. But it's going to take time to get it. Then what you should do, save that and always wear that. Because especially Pisces is time. Leo is time because it's Maga. It starts from Maga, the lineage, which has been coming a long time. And Sagittarius is naturally the house of Pitris, which is the past. So there's a concept of time. And obviously we know about Pisces because of Revati, that time dilation that occurs. And remember when we made the Pisces video, Eve also said that a lot of watchmakers are seen from Pisces. So you must take hold of that time. But again, it's Venus we're talking about. So it has to be of good value. It has to be, especially with Leo, it needs to be regal, some regal brand. With Sagittarius, okay, it can be a good brand, but doesn't have to be extraordinary. And with Pisces, as long as there's time with you. But especially any sound with Pisces, any sound of a company that has a feminine quality to it, feminine name, that is something that one should wear. For example, Cartier, Jaeger-LeCoultre. These are very like feminine style names. And there's many more. And of course, But Venus in Leo, when your children are born, always have fun with your children. Always don't just be like, well, it's Friday and I'm going to take your spelling test and you have to show me that you have done coding at the age of 7. Don't be one of those tiger moms and dads with Venus and Leo. You can be your discipline. You make sure they're doing their homework, learning, but you must on a Friday. If every Friday beautiful, you got to entertain your children. Entertain your children, and especially with Venus, you got to go on romantic dinners after marriage. You will see somehow, some way, you're going to notice that within like 4 or 5 months that why is it that I can actually save more. Everything is subconsciously, every activity is related to something that is generating something in the future. See, whatever you're doing now, it's like a seed. Again, the simplest thing, I should be saying this. The simplest thing is, it's a seed. You're sowing that seed into the ground. And how long does it take for a plant to actually grow and show a rose, or, even some plant to, give you the fruit? It takes at least 6 months to a year. So whatever you do now, you'll see the results come in within this time. I'm talking about some karma and all that past life karma. I'm just whatever you sow now, you reap those results within a few years. So when you do these things, these are the seeds you're using for Venus. Venus is seeds and Venus is seed. This is why Venus is actually connected with programming, because Venus is sperm, okay, and sperm has the genetic code. This is why they have said long before, that Venus will go take a person into programming when it's connected with Mars, Rahu, or Mercury, or when especially one of these three planets are connected with Venus. A lot of programs, a lot of times you will think that, well, Venus is with Rahu, a person will like photography and fashion. No, those have to be connected, but mainly you're going to see those people are in programming. They're in genetics. Then Venus in Virgo. Venus in Virgo always use perfumes when you go to work. Always write a plan before you execute anything related to making money. Write it down. Write it down and look at it. Why? Because who's exalted in Virgo? Well, we know Venus is debilitated in Virgo. We got it. But who does Venus support? Whose support Venus needs now? Venus needs Mercury's support. Mercury is exalted in Virgo. Mercury becomes analytical, and Mercury is also a writer. Mercury will nitpick things in Virgo to perfect it. So one has to have a clear idea and plan written down to execute their work. And of course, you can even use this with this particular Venus as well. Venus in Virgo, you must enhance your beauty. Venus in Virgo, you must enhance your beauty. I don't care what you look like, who you are, you gotta look and feel beautiful. When you start doing that, you are then replacing that Venus towards this more exalted position. And now, oddly enough, people in Virgo, actually, you will find more actually very beautiful and attractive, very photogenic people in Virgo. Then the other thing you should do with Virgo, because again, I used a very key thing here. You should put a self-portrait. Take your self-portrait, put it in your home. Like you are valued. Like when you go into some company, there would be, like even restaurants and companies, there would be the pictures of the founders right in the lobby. You will see the CEO in a special place, like, oh, CEO of this company is this. Same way you want to put your picture. But especially put it in north or east direction. Especially east. Why east? Because which when you're looking at Venus in some it's like a Navgraha Murti in the temple, which which side is Venus facing? Always east. Venus faces east. So if you want your money to rise, you want yourself to rise, your image to rise, because Venus is in debilitated position. Take a nice self-portrait, go to a professional photographer, whether it's a glamorous picture, okay, put it in the golden frame in the east. I don't want you to do anything else. I don't need you to pray to it. I don't need you to go admire it all day. Just put it in there in the east. And you will see how your respect at work rises, increase and better relationship with women, regardless if it's professional relationship, personal relationship, love relationship. There's that respect that starts rising. But you must also, like I said, make a plan about what needs to be accomplished. I'm not saying that what you need to accomplish ultimately by the time you're 65. No, make a plan for the next year. I have to be able to accomplish this year. And be reasonable, because Venus is practical in Virgo. Not like if Venus is in Pisces, okay, I want to open up my Kundalini this year. Yeah, fine, Venus and Pisces may actually do that because of their past life karmas. Here you have a completely opposite situation. If you're not practical like Mercury, then Venus can't help you. So be reasonable. If you know that you only have 3 years experience as a software engineer, yet you're expecting to make money of a 20-year experience senior software manager who will get like a $300,000 salary package or 250, then this is not going to help. This is why when you write down something, automatically your brain subconsciously will start connecting with the Mercury. And especially when you write it down, use a green pen, green color pen. So you activate that logic of Mercury that, okay, I have a 3-year experience of software engineer. I got laid off because of this mass IT or tech layoff that has happened. Here I was making $70,000 a year. Okay, let me just say by next year, I should be making anywhere between $85,000 to $95,000 because of my experience in this. And you will see those things those things executed and actually happening and taking place. Now, my memory is actually, I see the blink. So my memory is actually going to be full. So I'm going to end this as perhaps part 1 here. Okay. And then we'll make part 2 later on. Or I might just even put it on my KRS vlogs, because I need to make a video there as well. It's been so long since everything that has happened in my own personal life with my sister and everything is like, haven't been able to focus on there as well. So many things have to be done there. So I might just put that there. I might just make a part 2 again. But just I know with this camera that I'm using, the red camera, the process isn't going to be like insane. It's going to take me like probably 3 hours to process this, because I didn't realize that it's going to be taking this long. So anyway, guys, yeah. So again, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss the type of videos. And you want to know everything about your Venus replacement and your planet replacements, consultations, books, my academy, check out the links here, KRSastrology.com under subsection. Otherwise, we'll see you either maybe just tonight, tomorrow, or some other time. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.